All right, we are live. Hi guys, how's it going? It's Val here, and it's time to talk about calling in your soulmate clients, y'all. This is a great topic because it's all about connection and, you know, finding that way to actually attract the people that you want to work with. And coming out of an energy of desperation and neediness and sinking into that yummy energy of abundance and freedom and connection, all the juicy stuff that we need in order to call in those clients that we are meant to work with, who are out there waiting for you to show up, who are waiting for you to connect, to call them in. So this live is all about energy. It's all about attraction marketing. It's all about all the stuff I love to talk about. The deeper work of being an entrepreneur, the deeper work of success, that deeper behind the scenes work that has to happen in order for you to find your soulmate clients, to make money, to be profitable, to be successful, right? So that's what I love to talk about this. So I'm excited to bring this to you today. I know that not many of you were able to show up live, and that's okay because the replay is always up here in the group. So as always, if you're live, say hi. If you are watching the replay, say hello. And I will come back and see who's been here. And also, I want to know what you think about this live today. I want to know if this resonates with you. I want to know if you have questions. So if you're new to this group too, I know we've had a lot of new members coming in recently. If you are new, welcome. I hope that you enjoy your stay in this group, and I hope that it is everything you want it to be. And if it isn't, that you let me know, because this is your group. This is your place to hang out. This is your safe space to learn, to grow, to be that beginner mind, that learning mind that is so important for us all to have, to ask for help, to be vulnerable, to practice visibility, to grow. Like that, this is a safe space for you to do that. And if you are thinking of starting a business, or you have started a business, this is a great place for you to connect with others who are doing the same thing. This is a great place for you to talk about what you're struggling with, to share value, to share your knowledge, your wisdom, and yourself. And to really start to see it as a container for your success. So that being said, I use the term soulmate clients. I like that term because for me, it speaks to how I want to build my business and how I have started building my business in the last couple of years. When I started out as a life coach 6 years ago, of course, I'm like every other person who's starting out. I worked with anybody, y'all. Like whoever would hire me, I worked with, because I knew that I needed experience as a coach. I knew I needed those coaching hours under my belt to build my expertise. And so I worked with anyone and everyone. And also, it helps you to define your niche, right? If you work with a whole bunch of different people, it's really going to help you to get an understanding of who you love to work with and narrow down your niche based on your experience. It's hard to nail down a niche if you haven't coached a lot of different types of clients. So I worked with anyone and everyone, and that was amazing. And then I transitioned into a place of going, okay, I have built up a certain amount of success and clients, and now I'm ready to start being a little pickier. And that's the getting out of the baby business stage and into the adolescent stage of your business, is where you can be pickier. You can pick and choose your clients according to who you feel you want to work with. And that's what I call a soulmate client, is, those clients that you love to work with. And how do you know? Well, how I know is when I work with my soulmate clients, I feel energized at the end of the call. I get off the call and feel like, holy shit, like I learned so much from my clients. I would do this for free. It's so amazing. And I feel so connected to this person. And together we have this magic, right? This magic that happens when we are working together that creates so much more than either of us could imagine. And that's how I know they're a soulmate client. I feel deeply connected with them. And often they have similar life experiences here. So often, hi Jolie, yeah, totally energized from sessions. That's how you know it's a soulmate client. Now, I know when it's not, and this is part of manifesting is contrast. Contrast exists to help us to know what we want. So without contrast, we can't know what we want. And so for me, that contrast came from working with people who weren't my soulmate clients. And I'm telling you, it becomes evident pretty damn quick if they're not your soulmate client. I kind of dread getting on the call. I'm almost wishing they would like have to cancel or something. Like there's this thing in the back of my mind, and I feel lower energy on the call. I feel like I have to work harder. And when I get off the call, I'm like, oh, I'm exhausted. I'm drained. It's not fun, right? So that contrast is really helpful to help us to understand. Like, okay, so this isn't a soulmate client. And then when you do experience that energized, excited, connected experience, that's how you find out who your soulmate clients are. And like I said, often they have similar life experience, so you have a connection that way, but not always. And I always say, like, if you're wondering, like, maybe you haven't had a lot of coaching experience yet, maybe you're just starting out and you haven't had a lot of clients yet, and you're wondering who that soulmate client is, I often suggest that you think about who were you 3 to 5 years ago, because often our soulmate clients are us 3 to 5 years ago. So like when I think of my soulmate clients, it's usually me where I was at, I would say maybe 7 years ago. And the things I was working through, the things I was struggling with, it was a lot of, back in that day, like finding myself, finding my voice, visibility, confidence, overcoming fears, like a lot of that stuff that was getting in my way. And that is really a lot of who I work with now. So that can be another way to think about it, is like, where were you at 3, 5, 7 years ago? Does that resonate with the clients that you love to work with? Do they kind of seem to fit into that place that you were in? Because as soon as we can connect on similarities, similar life experiences, there is that deeper connection, just like with a friend, right? It's like those good friends where you can like talk soul to soul and really connect on like, yeah, me too, or whatever. So that can play into, who is your soulmate client. Yeah, so those are some things that are a good thing to think about. But the other thing is a vibration. And when we talk about manifesting, right, it's all about vibration and alignment. And if those soulmate clients are vibrating at the same level as you, and if they are having a similar energetic vibration, that's also going to be really helpful for you to call them in, because as you know, we attract what our energy is, right? Wherever we are energetically is what we attract. And so if we're feeling bummed out, exhausted, not enjoying coaching, then guess what? We're going to attract clients who are not going to enjoy the coaching, who are bummed out, who are low energy, who don't do the homework, who don't show up on the calls, who keep canceling, who you have to like drag through the sessions. And I remember one of my business coaches when I was first starting out said, if you've got to drag them in, you're going to be dragging them around. And it's true. Like if that's who you are attracting, are clients who are like coming up with lots of excuses of why they're not going to pay you, or why they don't want to hire you, or why they're not doing the work, they are not your soulmate clients. And it's going to be really evident really quick, right? So we want those clients who are aligned with our energy. And when we do the inner work, then we start attracting those clients. And we want clients who are motivated, who are excited to work with us, who are ready to pay you and see the value in paying you what you're worth, right? We want clients who are showing up, they're eager, they're excited, they're motivated, they're doing the work, and they are on fire for this process, and they feel connected with you. Like those are the clients we all want, right? The trick is, how do you attract them? And a lot of it comes down to our own inner work of vibrationally, how are we showing up in the space? And then what are we putting out? So that's what I'm going to get into now. Yeah, all right. So that's what a soulmate client is. So how do you attract them? Okay, so I've got some being and doing tips for you. Being and doing are always, we always want to work holistically with being and doing, right? The being is our inner being, the doing is our actions, and when the doing comes out of the being, wow, is it powerful, right? That's that inspired action that we want. The doing that comes out of connection to self. So I'm going to start with some being things that you can think about, and then we'll get into some doing things that will come out of the inner work. Okay, cool. So let's start with the being. Okay, so how do you call in these soulmate clients? First, I want you to know that they are out there. They are out there, and they are waiting for you. They are waiting for you to connect with them because they know.
This came back from a search.
My phone just talked to me. Hang on. I'm just going to turn the volume off. Okay. They are out there waiting for you guys. Do you believe that? Do you believe that your soulmate clients are out there, that they are waiting and ready, and they are needing your services? Give me a yes in the comments if you believe that to be true, that your soulmate clients exist and that they are out there. And it starts with you, because they might be out there, but if you are not showing up in the energy that is required, they're not going to find you. They are not going to find you. So this is all about calling them in, attracting them. And the way that you do that is to connect to yourself first. It all has to start with your own connection, and doing your inner work. So what is that inner work? Not fully at times. Yeah, and that's an honest answer, right, Jolie? It's like we don't always believe that. And when we don't believe it, that's a clue. Even if it's like 10% we don't believe it, that's a clue for some inner work that has to be done to shift those limiting beliefs, because that will show up in the space, right? So identifying your limiting beliefs and what might be blocking you from connecting. That's number one. Thinking about what are some of those subconscious beliefs that I am holding that might be keeping me from connecting with my soulmate clients. And I'm going to give you some examples. When you think about how you feel when you show up online, when you write a post, when you create content, when you even think about, trying to connect with your clients, what are some of the feelings that come up? Do you have fear? Fear that I'm never going to make it, I'm not good enough. That's a huge one. I'm not good enough, I don't deserve, I'm not worthy, there's not enough for everyone. I'm never going to be able to find my clients. So think about what are some of those limiting beliefs that show up for you when you think about, putting yourself out there or creating content or trying to connect. And that's the work that needs to get cleared out, or that's the stuff that needs to get cleared out for you so that you can be a clear channel to call in your soulmate clients. So think about that and try to identify what might be blocking you from connecting, because fear, overwhelm, fear what people might think, like it all comes down to those limiting beliefs. And when we hold those in our subconscious, it's energetically, that's the energy we're putting out. So if we have the energy of like fear that I'm not good enough, okay, and so I'm putting that energy into the space, then we're not going to attract clients because they're not going to trust us. They're not going to subconsciously trust us that we can help them. or fear of being vulnerable, right? Fear of being vulnerable, fear of judgment, fear of rejection. Whenever we hold those limiting beliefs or feelings, then those are energetically creating our reality too, right? So we will get no's. We won't get sales because of our fears that are showing up in the space. So again, that's something to think about. Those have to be cleared. Those have to be cleared out. And this is the practice that's going to bring you into alignment so that you can start attracting these lovely people. And so, okay, how do you clear those? I'm not going to get into a huge like how to do it. If you have watched any of my other programs or videos, you know what I'm talking about. But a really quick thing you can do is write down all those fears that are coming up for you. Write it all down, no judgment, full of compassion for yourself. Write them out, and then write the opposite truth beside it. Right. So it's like if your fear is there isn't enough for everybody, then write out the truth and truth bomb yourself. There is more than enough for everybody. There, my clients are out there. They're waiting for me, and start to shift the energy. This isn't about like getting rid of our fears, right? That's not going to happen. This is about living with our fears, accepting them, and then shifting to the truth. And I love how Elizabeth Gilbert puts this. She says, okay, so we're going for a car ride and fear is here. Fear is scared because it's unknown. We don't know where we're going. We don't know what's going to happen when we get there. And fear is showing up and having a temper tantrum and yelling and screaming. And she says, yeah, it's okay that you're here, sweetie. It's fine. We have a car seat for you in the back seat, and you can sit back there and you can yell and scream, and it's okay. But we're still going where we're going, and you don't get to make the decisions, and you don't get to, decide where we're going to go or what we're going to do when we get there. But you do get to come along in the back seat, and you do get to have a voice. But it's okay because adult self has this, and we're going anyways. And it's such a loving, compassionate way to handle the fear that can come up when we're wanting to step out and call in our clients. Because it's not about eradicating fear, it's about changing our relationship to fear. So when we bring compassion to that fearful part of ourselves, then we can say, I'm not resisting it, it's okay, and I'm going to keep going. And then our energy starts to shift from being consumed by the fear to being present to what else is here, which is power and, excitement and connection and decisions and joy and peace. All of the things that we want to sit in. And the knowing that there is enough for everybody, and the knowing that your clients are out there, and the knowing that you're going to just keep going without even knowing how you're going to get there or what's going to happen at the end. So that's how we're going to shift into the energetic place that you need to be in to call in your clients. That's one way. So that's part of the being work. And I wanted to actually talk about something. Actually, I'm going to leave that to the end. And let's go into the doing. So here's some doing things to help you when you are showing up in the online space and you want to call in your clients. We need to understand the psychology of your ideal client in order to create content that speaks to their soul, right? It's soul to soul. Spirit to spirit, inner being to inner being. This is, if you are interested in calling in your soulmate clients, if you actually really want to work with people who are, the aligned, meant to be clients, then it's got to be soul to soul connection. It has to be that. It can't be mind to mind, because mind to mind is fear, ego, have tos, shoulds, and that's not going to call in those clients who are your soulmates. That will call in clients who are also making decisions out of fear. And often they won't show up, and they will be flaky, and they will be too scared to stick with it when it gets hard. So we don't want to do mind-to-mind connection. We want to do soul-to-soul. How do you do that online? You can absolutely do that online because it's all energy, right? We are creating energy talking here, whether you're watching the replay or whether you're live. We have an energy, a collective energy that we are creating. Like Jolie, when you comment and I get that energy from you, and then it helps me to give you more energy, we are creating that in an online space. You can create that in because we're all connected, you can create this energy with anyone, anytime, anywhere. So, understanding the psychology of your ideal client to create content that speaks to their soul. How do we do this? Research, 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 research. Okay, so find like five. Okay, let's start with three. Find three people that you think, okay, I've worked with them in the past and I know that they'd be my ideal client. Or they're a friend who, if I wasn't their friend, they'd be an ideal client, or something like that. And you're going to research, talking to them for like 15 minutes. Hey, can I buy you coffee? Hey, can I pick your brain? And ask them tons and tons of questions. What's your biggest pain point? What do you want the most? Like, what's your biggest pleasure that you would like to have? How motivated are you to solve this problem, to shift this pain point? What would you do to change this? How would your life be different if this was solved, if this problem was solved for you? Ask them tons of questions and then listen to their language. Listen to how they answer you. Listen to what they say about their problems, their pain points, what they truly want, what their dreams are. And also listen to, like, what have they done to solve the problem in the past? What hasn't worked? And what are they doing now? So you really just want to get into their mind and start listening super, super intently to their language, to what they say about it, because it's always different than what we think they're going to say. And it's fascinating to get into the mind of an ideal client and listen, and then take that language, take tons and tons of notes, or record it, or whatever you have to do, and then take that language and use it in your content. So, for instance, I did this, and Jolie, I interviewed you several months ago, January, when I was shifting my marketing and starting to create new programs. I did interview you, and this is what I did, because you're one of my people. And so I'm like, I know Jolie's like, one of my people. And so I want to know what Jolie would say. And I did this with about seven women who I'd either worked with in the past, or I knew I would love to work with, or I felt that connection with. And so some of that language is now in my content creation. It's in my marketing. And that is powerful, because that's what speaks to your clients. That's when they say, wow, she's in my head. She's reading my mind. That's when they feel that connection, and that call is when you use their language. Yes, tribe. It's the tribe, right? The tribe vibe. That's when they feel that calling, that connection to you. And that's when they start becoming fans of your shit, because they're going to be like, yes, she knows where I'm at. She's talking about my pain points. How would she even know that? So that's one thing, is the psychology of your ideal client. Another thing you can do is build your brand to help you bond with your audience in a way that builds trust and authority. So this is actually proving that you know what you're talking about. This is proving that you can solve your soulmate clients' problems. And this is showing up with authority so that they feel safe with you, so that they feel like you've got them, that they can trust you, and that they know that you're the one to help them. And so how we do this is by actually giving them an experience of what it would be like to work with you. You're giving them an experience of transformation through your content. So whether it's a post where you talk about a problem that they're having, and you give them specific actionable steps to take that they can apply to their lives immediately, that will help them solve a problem. Hey Jolie, have a good run. See ya. That would help them solve a problem. Or you're doing a live, or a IGTV, or something, a YouTube, like however you want to do it, a video where you are showing how you help people. So you're giving like actual steps and tips and helpful things. Because without that, then it's just like, well, I like you, but I don't know if you can actually help me. You have to prove that you are an expert, yeah? You have to prove that you have the authority to help people. And by building your brand that way, by layering your content with lots and lots of social proof, mini courses, free challenges, freebies that are, really helpful for people, or videos or content that is really giving them super, super good high value, that's going to help them to trust you. And then showing up fully, right? So your ideal client can feel connected to you. Showing up fully, being brave, being bold, being your full self, letting people see, let your freak flag fly, like being authentic. That's when you start to stand out from the crowd, because it's not just like cookie cutter content. It's like, oh, people are getting a sense of who you are. And then those soulmate clients will be like finding you. Um, and then, knowing that everyone's in, you, me, and everybody is all in different stages of readiness to buy. And this is really important, you guys, because if you think about it, we're all always in this process of either ready to buy or not ready to buy, or in the middle. Whether you're thinking of hiring a coach, whether you're thinking of signing up for a course, whether you're thinking of buying shoes on Amazon, whether you're thinking of, going out to a restaurant, whatever it is, we're always in different stages of readiness to buy. And when we think about it this way, it helps us to design content that speaks to all the different stages of your clients. So you might have a soulmate client who is in the first stage, which is lurking, right? So maybe that she is showing up on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, and she's reading all your posts. She's watching your Insta stories. She's showing up on Facebook, but she's not commenting or engaging yet. She is at the beginning stages of readiness to buy. She probably lacks some awareness of what she needs. So she might be feeling like that niggle of like, I think I need help in this area, or I think I'd like to learn this or whatever, but she's not really connected to the awareness of what she actually needs and why. And she's still in fear of showing up and, putting herself out there. Even just commenting on a post, you guys, can be scary for a lot of people. Or like even this, like if you show up and it's live, do you feel comfortable commenting and saying hi? Or even on the replay, do you feel comfortable to comment and say hi if you're watching this? And just think about it for yourself and go, okay, so what level of comfort or discomfort am I experiencing right now watching Val on this video and thinking that, I don't want to say hi, or I don't want to like be vulnerable or visible. That's that stage of lurking, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's where we all start from. Because we have to go through all the stages. We can't just go from zero to buy, unless it's an impulse purchase, like I'm at the mall and I bought a dress and, whatever. But this is when we're thinking about hiring a coach, that's a big investment. That's a big commitment. So we take our time, right? So this is the first stage of like, I'm going to watch this person. I'm going to, watch their posts, watch their videos, but I'm not ready to reach out myself. That's the first stage. And when we want to create content for them, because what we want for those soulmate clients who are in that stage, we want them to start building the know and like factor, right? It's the know, like, and trust factor. We're starting to build the know and like factor. So we're going to create content that is about like, who am I? What do I do? What do I like to do? Like building comfort around who you are as a person. And layer some of that content into your program, into your content calendar, so that you're still constantly like sort of reintroducing yourself to new people or letting people know who you are, that kind of thing. The next level of readiness to buy is that exploring level, where they're they're aware of their need. They're aware that, okay, I'm ready to hire a coach, or maybe not ready, but I know that I would like to. I think it's going to help me. So they're looking at all their options. They're starting to do their research. So they're looking at your posts. They're looking at Susie Coach over here's posts. They're looking at Pamela's posts over here. They're watching your videos. They're watching Susie's videos. They're watching Pamela's videos. Maybe they're starting to interact a little bit more, ask some questions, right? So they're starting to warm up. These are your warm leads. These are the ones that are engaging a little more, but they're not quite ready. So you want to create posts for those gals who are warm leads, and that can be through newsletters, that can be through free courses, that can be, you know, a higher level of engagement that will require a little more commitment from her, but it still feels safe. And then the next level is considering. So they've already decided that you're the person to help them, but they need a little more reassurance and they need a little more touch from you. And so that level is like, yes, I know Jolie is my girl, but I'm still not totally ready to commit. I still have some questions, objections, you know, things like that. And so this is where you can create content that overcomes objections in your content, right? Maybe the objection is, I can't afford it. Speak to that in your content. Maybe the objection is, I don't have enough time. Speak to that in your content. Overcome those objections for her in the content so that she starts feeling more safe with you and more comfortable. And then the last level is the 1% of your audience who is actually ready to buy, put money down, whether it's for a course or for one-on-one work. They're ready. They know you, they like you, they trust you. They've had enough contact with you and enough engagement with you, enough experiences with you that they are ready to commit. And that can take like 10 to 12 experiences with one person before they're ready to commit and put money down for your program. So that's the 1%. And by the time they get to that level, and they're your soulmate client, you don't really need a sales call. They're ready, you're connected already, you've had conversations, you've had experiences, and they're ready to go. So that's sort of the funnel that you would take your soulmate client through with your content to move them up to the level of where they're ready to buy. And if that makes sense, let me know. If you have questions, let me know. But that's a basic idea of how you're going to do it. And I just want to close with this. And this is something that I want to speak to because I believe that it is prevalent in so many of us women who are stepping into bigger things and stepping into, you know, being ready to call in your soulmate clients, which requires a deeper level of commitment to yourself, to your inner work than ever before. I know for me, it's been a continual journey of having to show up for myself in a bigger way, a more committed way than ever before. And it's it's constantly evolving and deepening, and I'm just blown away by the amount and level of inner work I've done in the last 6 months in order to up level from, you know, having clients and doing okay to actually leveling up to consistent cash, you know, sold out programs and soulmate clients. I've really had to face a lot in myself, my own fears, my own limiting beliefs, my own barriers and blocks, and um, a lot of them I thought like I'd already done a lot of work on, but it was like a whole new level, and I have had to really double down on my inner work, and um, you know, that takes a lot of guts. That takes a lot of determination and bravery and a real willingness to look at ourselves. And that's been something that I've really seen at this level that I'm at now. And so if you are experiencing that block of like, I know my clients are out there, but they're not coming in, or I'm not making sales, or, you know, I'm not getting hired, or my programs aren't selling out, or I haven't even created a program because I don't know what to do, or I'm too scared. I want you to know that that is totally normal. That is totally normal. So do not beat yourself up about it, because this is the unsexy work of being an entrepreneur, you guys. And this is the stuff that I think is less popular to talk about, because it's easier to stay in the doing side, right? Of like, just give me the strategy and I was, tell me what to do and I'll do it. That's where I used to be. Um, until I realized that all the strategy in the world means shit if you can't align with the energy of the people that you want to hire you. And so I wanted to end with that and just share a little bit of my own journey in the last 6 months of like really facing myself and facing those deeper levels of, fear, perfectionism, need to be seen as, like all that shit. And every time you up level, it's a new level, new devil. Every time you up level, it's a deeper layer. But the number one thing that I think will get in your way is perfectionism. And tell me if you struggle with perfectionism. Tell me in the comments if that's something that you struggle with. It's rampant. It's rampant. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I can't for the life of me remember who it was. Maybe it was Elizabeth Gilbert. I was listening to her podcast the other day, and she was talking about perfectionism, and she said, it's really just fear. It's fear. It's always fear. And the one thing that I want you to think about with perfectionism is whether it's trauma-informed perfectionism or not. And trauma-informed perfectionism means that there has been some kind of trauma in your past that has thrown your mind, your brain, into this perfectionism programming. And it might be abuse. It might be a previous relationship. It might be being bullied at school. It might be pressure from your parents to get straight A's. It might be, it might be a lot of things. And when I say trauma, I don't mean like it has to be some big, huge thing like abuse or a car accident or, PTSD. It doesn't have to be that. It can be trauma, it can be anything that is traumatic. And bullying is super traumatic, or things like that. And it creates pathways in our brain that are locked in there in our programming in our subconscious mind, designed to protect us from getting hurt. And perfectionism is one of those. If the thought is like, I'm not qualified to do this. Oh, here's one thing that I want you to know. Here's one thing that if you have trauma-informed perfectionism, the thought might be, I am not qualified to do this work until I have no fear coming up. And fear can be also talked about with subcortical effect. Subcortical is our subconscious neural formations in our brain. It's the information hub of the nervous system, and it's not regulated. And so what happens is we get this subcortical effect, which means like we get fear, we get anxiety, we get like our nervous system going firing off with like all of this shit that we're not safe. It tells us that we're not safe. That's subcortical effect. And that can be informed by trauma. And how that leads us into perfectionism is because we expect that we will not act unless that doesn't happen. So I'm not going to put out a post unless I feel completely at peace about it, until it's perfect, so that I don't feel any subcortical effect, so that I don't feel any fear, anxiety, or nervousness about it. Then I'll put that post out. Okay? That's what I mean by trauma-informed perfectionism. And this can be really tricky, because on the outside it seems to us like it's a good thing to have, right? Oh, we have high standards. But if it's this kind of perfectionism, basically you're not giving yourself permission to be a human being. You're not giving yourself permission to be a human being. And so it will keep you from attracting your soulmate clients, because you won't put out a video. You won't put out a post. You won't create a program until you have none of this subcortical effect going on. Until you have no anxiety, no fear, no discomfort, no firing of your nervous system. And that's that perfectionism of like, I have to feel completely safe and comfortable before I'll do it. And unfortunately, so many of us deal with this, and I have experienced this in the past. Um, but that is something I want you to think about. If that's going on for you, if you can relate to that, if you can relate to that feeling of like, I'm not going to act until I feel comfortable, then you have some healing work to do, my friend. And that healing is rearranging your relationship to your physical and spiritual self. That healing is, somatically calming your nervous system so you can release some of that trauma energy that's stuck in your nervous system so that you can actually show up as a human being, imperfect, taking imperfect, messy action, and call in those clients. And if that resonates with you, I hope I explained it clearly. If not, let me know. But I hope that makes sense to you, because I really wanted to speak to that, because I think that that goes on with a lot of us, and we're not. It's hard for us to admit it or acknowledge it. And I will tell you, I'm the first to tell you that yes, this has definitely been something that I have had to do a lot of healing work on. And the difference is incredible. The difference is like huge. The way that I can show up now, and I have a lot of people say like, oh, I could never do what you do. I could never like come on lives. I could never do this. Yeah, I couldn't either. I couldn't either. But the reason I'm able to do it now is because of that healing work. It's honestly what had to happen in order for me to be able to show up. And in order for you to be able to show up and call in your soulmate clients, you might have to do some of this healing work. And if that resonates with you, if you're feeling like, yeah, Val, like, I totally get it. I don't give myself permission to be a human being. I have to, I have huge perfectionism issues, and it's keeping me from being able to show up in the online space as a real human being with my hair messy, with no makeup, with whatever's going on for me. Like, I can't do that because of this. If that's you, I would love to talk to you privately. I would love for you to send me a private message and just say, hey, yes, that resonated with me. What's going on with me? Because that's a huge, huge, huge part of this piece for you. And your soulmate clients are out there, and they are waiting for you, and they do need what you have to offer. And you need to find a way to connect with them. And so, energetically, if you are carrying the energy of perfectionism or fear, then it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, because that will always come through in everything you do. And like I said, it's not that we can't have fear. It's that we need to do the inner work to be able to show up anyways, and to show up with our best grounded, centered adult self, who says, it's okay that fear's here. She's in the back seat. She's having a temper tantrum, and I'm showing up anyways. That is how you call in your soulmate clients. That is how you change the world. That is how you make a difference, by changing yourself and healing yourself, and then offering that to the world. And I promise you that if you are willing to do that inner work, if you are willing to go to those dark, scary places and heal yourself, the soulmate clients will find you as you show up bigger, bolder, more fully yourself, more authentic, more genuine. It'll happen for you. And you're not alone. I am here for you. And I'm happy to chat with you about it more if that resonates with you. If you're getting that nudge, that intuitive nudge, that this is the piece of the puzzle that's been holding you back, I'd love to talk to you. So I'm gonna love you and leave you. Let me know what you guys think. Are you ready to call in your soulmate clients? Are you ready to, become a force of nature in the world and make money doing what you love and changing people's lives? If that is your goal, if that is your calling, then give me a hell yes in the comments. And let's talk more about this. I love talking about this. I could talk about it all day, but I'm going to keep it shorter than I I want to keep it under an hour, so we're at 50 minutes. So I'm going to call it. Okay, guys, love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.